so vividly. I could see all of us out there. It was like almost like a vision, and stuff. And it was like I woke up and I'm like, this is going to happen. And it was really weird.
In the Southern Smokies, the mountains do more than shape the horizon. They shape the people. Here in Clay County, history and heritage sit at the center of community life, from the courthouse square to the halls of the Beal Center. Generations have passed through this valley, generations have cared for it, and today we begin our story with someone whose roots and purpose are woven directly into this land. Someone who never set out to make history, but simply followed the pull of the mountains until that calling became something much bigger.
Me, Cindy Curtis, who was the director of Pathways, take off and try to go biking. But where do you take these youth who have little skills? We were trying to foster the sport. We were trying to build mountain biking.
Joanna Padgett Atkisson is a sixth-generation Padgett, raised in the rhythms of a small mountain town. Her father was one of the region's last old country doctors, making nighttime house calls and delivering babies in living rooms. Her mother, his nurse, kept the home and clinic running, neighbors knocking on their door at all hours. In Hayesville, community isn't a concept, it's a way of life. And for Joanna, that sense of responsibility to people and to place started long before the idea of building a mountain bike trail ever entered her mind. Joanna grew up loving the outdoors. It gave her something she wanted to share.
The feeling that you get when you're out there in Mother Nature and you're laughing, you're seeing all kinds of things, the turtles and don't hit that snake and things like that, or, and the spills you take, and still get up and go on it, and it's when you do those group rides, just forms a connection.
In 2001, while working as the school nurse for Clay County Schools, Joanna was offered something unexpected: the chance to help develop a biking component for the Discovery Summer Program.
So whenever I got this opportunity to, first of all, just start teaching bike safety, rules of the road, rules of the trail, and that evolved into this, okay, we're going to take kids biking, and that evolved into where do we take kids biking? I dove in head first.
Group rides turned into questions, and one question changed everything. Where do we take these kids when Clay County doesn't have a single mountain bike trail? And for Joanna, the answer came like a spark.
Clay County is almost 50% public lands, national forest. Why do we not have trails?
Clay County is nearly 50% public lands, forest, lakeshore, rich slopes full of biodiversity. Yet in the early 2000s, none of it had official mountain bike trails.
That got me thinking and reaching out and forming the collaboration between SABA, the biking club, CCCRA, the Revitalization Association, and the Tuskegee Ranger District. So that started 2003. I had already identified some sites near the Jackrabbit Recreation Area that would be perfect, and the Forest Service agreed. But it was quite the process of NEPA studies, all the planning. I mean, it took years.
The Jackrabbit Peninsula held promise. But promise alone wasn't enough. Before a trail could be built, the land needed to be understood. Archaeological surveys, biological assessments. Years of careful review, protecting the story, the species, and the cultural layers beneath the soil. It was a massive undertaking for a small rural community. Yet Joanna walked the terrain, mile by mile, studying the land as if she were learning a language. Where water flows, where roots surface, where the trail should carve, and where it should avoid. It wasn't quick, it wasn't easy, but the vision stayed alive.
It's so fulfilling because when you dedicate so many years of your life, I lived out in the woods. I would go to work and then go to the woods. On weekends, I would load up my dog Yodi, which has a trail named after her, and we would spend 6-8 hours out there just learning the terrain. I had to learn what the terrain was and how we were going to, how many miles could we possibly get.
Years that would lead to one of the most accessible trail systems in the region. When the first 14.5 miles were designed with Mike Ryder and trail design specialist, the vision was intentional. This wasn't meant to be an extreme trail. It was meant to be an invitation, a gateway.
A trail is close to your community, easy access. It's beginner friendly, but also fun for the advanced rider. It's also great hiking. Cross-country runners and everybody uses this trail. Even fishermen, will hike in to find their favorite little spot, and the dogs love it.
Kids, beginners, families, hikers, trail runners, fishermen, and advanced riders all feel welcome. The trails gave structure, safety, and identity to a land that had always been loved, but never fully accessible. And yet, the work was far from over. As the trail grew, so did the needs.
Whenever we completed the first 14.5 miles, it didn't provide enough challenge for the advanced riders. They're still very fun for the advanced riders. You just pick up your speed and go around those curves, and it's a very flowy trail. But we listened and we collaborated again with the Forest Service, and we constructed the Rabbit Ridge and Rocky Cove trails. Rabbit Ridge adds another 4.9 miles, and Rocky Cove is a little less than a half a mile. And there's more climbing, there's some rock gardens, there's some absolutely fabulous berm turns and jumps and things like on the Rocky Cove is rock sections that if you can learn or you can bypass, so now, even though the initial trails were considered the gateway trails, we wanted something for everybody. So, and all of it is so accessible. That's right, and Rabbit Ridge is the only trail that is directional for safety reasons because of all those jumps and blind corners, banked turns, but the other trail system, the initial trail system, is bi-directional. So you could go do counterclockwise one time and turn around and do clockwise the next, and you're like in a totally different place. Ed Sutton with Trail Dynamics built the Rabbit Ridge and Rocky Cove Trail. He's the one that built Fire Mountain Trails in Cherokee. So they did an excellent job.
Clear signage. Plant identification markers to spark curiosity. You are here boards to keep riders from getting lost in the peninsula's maze of routes.
Me and Fred had got lost so many times in the woods, and we wanted to know, you are here, this is where, that's this way, that's this way. And then our plant identification signs that we've got up.
What began as rough rides with friends became a regional project involving students, parents, agencies, and national partners. It wasn't just trail building. It was stewardship in action.
So important for not only myself, but SABA, the biking club, and CCCRA, after spending so many decades creating this masterpiece, to make sure it's sustainable, make sure that people are able to use it centuries from now. Every year we spend 2 or 3 group work days out there just trying to deberm and improve drainage that's not only caused from just regular use, but especially from the damage done riding wet and freeze-thaw trails in the wintertime.
Jackrabbit did not stop at its first phase. It kept evolving, just like the community around it. Today, new features continue to rise from the same collaborative spirit that built the original trail. A new picnic shelter opened in 2025 offers visitors a comfortable place to gather and rest. Jackrabbit was built from vision, persistence, and a community willing to show up again and again for the land they love.
As I wrote in Dirt Rag magazine, even though one person may give birth to a project, it takes a community to raise it.
And today, every rider and every hiker becomes part of that ongoing work. Using the trail responsibly, respecting the weather, staying on the path, and leaving no trace. That's how we all help protect this place for the next generation. Jackrabbit is more than a trail system. It's a reminder of connection to each other, to nature, and to the stories we're entrusted to protect. Joanna invites you to come be part of that story. Feel the rhythm of the trail beneath your feet or tires. To understand why she poured so much of her life into these woods. And while you're here, she hopes you'll take a moment at a very special spot. A quiet bench along the trail, placed in memory of Joanna and her late husband, Fred.
Me and Fred would tailgate the back of his truck, and we would just hear people coming out of the trail. Yeehaw, and we'd just look at each other and say, we did a good thing.